What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on Get Up, they're going to be talking about Anthony Davis and how he signed on for a one-year contract with the Lakers. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Anthony Davis introduced as a Laker over the weekend. Expectations are sky high in L.A., where GM Rob Pelinka said anything less than a championship would not be a success. Our Rachel Nichols sat down with the Brow to talk about his expectations in year one.
Now, you come here and said already, I'm here to win titles. Rob Pelinka told the media anything less than a championship is not a success. Are you guys worried you're setting the bar a little bit too high here?
No, we have a standard and that is it, especially for me as a player. If I don't win a championship, then, the season was not a success.
At your introductory press conference, they introduced you as someone who they hope will be a pillar of the Lakers for a decade to come.
Yeah.
You're only signed through this season.
Yeah.
Do you think you will be a pillar of the Lakers for years and years to come?
Honestly, Rachel, I'm just focused on this season. I don't know what's going to happen. I have 1 year here, so I'm going to make the best of this year. And when that time comes around in, the summer or, whenever the season's over, hopefully around, mid-June, after we just had this parade and, I need a couple of days to think. Then we can, talk about that, with management, front office, and ownership. And but until then, I'm trying to do whatever I can to help this team win this year.
So just at face value, it doesn't seem like Anthony Davis is too committed to the Lakers. It seems like he has 1 foot in the door, 1 foot out. Like he's going to take this 1 year to go ahead and test the waters to see how well they do. So if they make it to the playoffs or if they even win a championship, he'll stay. But if things don't go so well, he's just going to jump ship after 1 year. So that's not really kind of a good sign. Especially we went through this whole hoopla for almost a year on trying to sign Anthony Davis, and he only comes for a 1 year contract and doesn't really seem all that enthusiastic about it. So that means something. That definitely means something, and it doesn't look too good. But let's continue.
So in that conversation, you just heard it right there, he referred to, I got 1 year here. Now, Anthony Davis is one of the great one-and-dones in the history of college basketball. If he's a one-and-done with the Lakers, then the Lakers will have made one of the worst deals of all time. They mortgaged the entirety of their future, essentially, to bring him there. What did you make of him talking about this in a 1 year time frame?
It'd be indirectly like what happened with the Boston Celtics as they had Kyrie Irving and he walks away and they get nothing in return. What I want fans and media to understand is today's player is a lot more savvy and understand that being an entrepreneur is just as important as being a champion. So therefore, I don't have to commit publicly. It does me no good. It doesn't change my money. People now look at players not committing different. They look at load management different. People look at great players changing teams not as taboo. So if you're Anthony Davis in your head, he wants to be a Los Angeles Laker for a really long time. You saw how giddy he was, Greeny. He's already talking about the parade. He's already talking about how happy he is to be there. But it does him no good to commit long-term vocally. It's just a matter of going out and actually playing basketball.
I don't just...
So it will do him some good if he commits vocally to let the fans know what's going on. Because generally, like I said before, I want to know what a new guy on my team, especially if he's a superstar, if he's committed to the team. Is he going to be here for 3, 4, 5, or 6 years? Because I might not buy his jersey if I know he's only going to be here for a year because he's not fully committed. I might not buy season tickets or season tickets for multiple years if this guy is not fully committed and he's only going to be here for a year. I mean, that's something we really like to know. And if he's not full, I don't know why Jalen thinks that he wants to stay here any longer or he's fully committed when he's showing all the signs of a guy that only wants to stay for 1 year to test the waters. He signed up for a 1 year contract. He's not really talking about anything past that contract. He's talking about just only playing and seeing what happens, and then possibly, even when they win it after the parade, still thinking about whether or not he wants to recommit. So it seems like Jalen Rose is trying to sell the narrative that Anthony Davis wants to stay. When I don't know what would make you think that, because he's showing you all the signs that he's only here for 1 year and that's it. If somebody shows you that they're a thief and they tell you that they're a thief and then they steal from you, don't be surprised because they stole from you because they already told you what they are. Same thing with Anthony Davis. He said he's only here for 1 year. He's going to see what happens after that year to see if they win or if they lose or what's going to happen. Even if they win, he's still going to sit around and think about it. So if he's only here for 1 year, don't be surprised if he leaves after 1 year. So I don't know. Let's continue.
He could easily have answered her question by saying, yes, it is my expectation that I'll be here for a long time and we're going to win a lot of championships and all that sort of thing. And then if it goes badly, I guess are we going to agree maybe it doesn't make any difference at what he says at this point, because anyone can say anything they want. Kyrie Irving said, I'll come back to Boston if they'll have me, and then he couldn't get out of town fast enough. Maybe it doesn't make any difference what Anthony Davis says in July.
Absolutely. With a 24-hour media cycle, social media, and us dissecting every word, it does the player no justice to commit long-term, because anything can happen. Kyrie Irving did commit in the offseason. Then once the season started, he was unhappy in Boston, unhappy with Brad Stevens, unhappy with Danny Ainge, unhappy with the young players. This won't happen with Anthony Davis because he chose to be in LA, unlike Kyrie didn't choose to be in Boston, but there's no reason for him to commit in the media.
But when you look at...
But Jalen, what makes you think that Anthony wants to stay any longer than the 1 year? Like I said, he's telling you what he wants to do. He's saying, I'm only here for 1 year. We'll see what happens after that. Even if we win it, I'm still going to take time to think about what I want to do after our championship parade, if we even get to that point. So I don't know. I don't think it's Anthony Davis saying he's only going to be here for 1 year. I don't think that's code for, I really want to stay here for 4 or 5 years. I really like it here. I think what Anthony Davis is saying is what he means. He's only going to stay here for 1 year, test the waters. And if things don't work out, he's going to leave. So stop trying to sell the narrative that Anthony Davis is talking in code talk when he says he wants to stay here for 1 year, or he's only going to be here for 1 year. That means he really wants to stay here for 4 or 5 years. I don't know why you're trying to sell that narrative, Jalen. You got to take him what he's saying. So I don't know. Let's continue.
All the relationships that are involved here, okay? And we understand there's LeBron, there's the agent, Rich Paul, who was invested, obviously, in both of them and with both of them, and Davis coming to the Lakers and all they gave up. Do you think there's any real chance, no matter how badly things go this first year, that Davis only plays 1 season with the Lakers?
No real chance that Anthony Davis leaves the Lakers. No real chance Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to leave the Clippers. We're going to talk about them as well. It's all the exact same conversation. Today's player has enough savvy to know that when I played in the league, fans and media used to care about that commitment and that investment. They wanted you to be a part of their community, to be a pillar of it. Now, fans are just root for players. So they don't necessarily need that commitment, and players know.
All right, you got to stop right there, Jalen. Are you trying to tell me that fans don't care about a commitment from all-star players? They won't care if an all-star comes to their team, stays for a year, and leaves? Fans are very worried about, they want their all-stars to stay with their team. You saw how Toronto was last year when they won a championship and how bad they wanted Kawhi Leonard to stay. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that you would say that. It's like you're trying to sell some type of narrative about these players staying when there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee of it. There's no guarantee. I don't know how you can guarantee that Kawhi and Paul George are going to stay there longer than 2 years. Because when you said you guaranteed that Kawhi Leonard was going to stay in Toronto and he left, I think you said have 97% sure that Kawhi Leonard is going to stay in Toronto. And now you're saying there's little chance that Anthony Davis is going to leave the Lakers? I don't. Based on what? Based on what? Like I said, when they say they're only going to stay for a year or two, that's not code for them saying, I'm only going to stay for a year, but what I really mean is I'm going to stay here for 4 or 5 years. And you fans don't really care about me being committed or staying for very long. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. The fans care if a guy's committed. Like I said, I'm not going to buy a jersey from somebody that's only going to be here from a year. I'm not going to be committed and buy season tickets if a guy's only going to be here for a year. So the fans do care. I know the players are savvy and they're more business side of it, but the fans care if a guy's going to be here for 1 year versus 4 or 5. It changes the game. So let's continue.
Yeah, I think that's right. That's one of the changes that have been made in the NBA that I thought was a terrible thing for the sport. I thought it would hurt the sport. In reality, I think it's helped the sport. I think fans create new interest and things like rivalries and all that we used to care about go out the window. Now they're just looking for the star power, and we've got it in 2 places in LA.
And players know how to keep the suspense going. That's what likes and follows and social media is all about.
Right.
You have no need to follow me or hang on every word if I give you all of the information right now.
Listen, I've been doing these.
Come on, Jalen. I don't think that's what it is. I don't think Anthony Davis is only continually saying that he's only going to stay for 1 year because he doesn't want to let the cat out of the bag that he's really going to stay at 4 or 5 years because he wants people to keep going to his social media page to stay tuned. He doesn't want to tell them everything because they might not follow him. Are you kidding me? Look at LeBron James. People follow LeBron James and tweet about LeBron James when he ties his shoes, when he goes out to dinner, when he looks the wrong way, when he does something wrong, when he does something simple. It's tweeted. So I don't think Anthony Davis is really trying to hide or keep people in suspense because he wants them to keep going to their social media page. I don't think that's what's happening here, Jalen. I don't think that's what's happening here at all. So I don't know. Let's continue.
Teases on the air for 20 years, and it tends to work.
You're the best at teasing.
Anthony Davis just did that. Basically, he said, "Will I stay here for the Lakers? Watch this year."